Another week, another set of new Supertest vehicles. And today, this is only partially true. Why? In this direction, the Taurus CAT actually already has been tested as a Tier 8 tank destroyer. Now it's Tier 9. The Huggorm, I hope I pronounce it correctly. I assume the Swedish guys will say no, but this one, which is apparently an adder or a viper, translated, is new. So, without further ado, let's immediately start with the Taurus CAT. Because I also want to point out, I give Wargaming flack for when these vehicles are pure fake, pure fantasy. There's no papers behind it. This tank actually, come on, there we go, does have a sketch. It actually does exist, as you can see. Yes, it is obviously only a paper prototype. Yes, it was only as a study. However, it was a study which actually looks fairly fleshed out. So I'm actually really happy that this tank is coming to the game once again. So I decided to compare it to its older self, the Taurus CAT on Tier 8, the Stridsvagn-1 and 3 and the Foch. Why exactly to the Stridsvagn? Because the Taurus CAT is a tank with siege mechanic. Very similar to what the Stridsvagn-1 and 3 is. The main gimmick it has is it has a 3-shot autoloader with in total 3 seconds burst to do 1170 damage because it's a 390 alpha gun. And the other gimmick is that when you are in speedy mode, you have a DPM of 1600, and when you are in sniper mode, you actually have 3000 DPM. So it reloads twice as fast when you are in mobility mode. I actually really, not in mobility, in accuracy mode. I actually really do like this idea, which is also kind of crazy because it has, with that better DPM, the Stridsvagn-1 and 3. So basically, you give the Stridsvagn-1 and 3 the ability to punish people even harder. Because usually the Stridsvagn kind of has the issue to do continuous its damage. Yes, it has amazing DPM. The Tier 10, the Tier 11, they have amazing DPM. But usually the main problem for your average player is to get into positions where it can actually abuse this amazing DPM. The Taurus, on the other hand, it has 3 seconds to 1100 damage, still reloads very quickly its clip, and then can continue doing that damage yet again. However, you are much more likely to do the clip than you do 2 shots or even 3 shots with the Stridsvagn in your average World of Tanks experience. So yeah, it's also pretty accurate, 0.3, which is exactly the same as the 1 and 3 has. It has a fast aim time of 1.3 seconds, which is just a tiny bit slower than the 1 and 3. And it has okayish pen. Yes, it doesn't have 308. It's still good enough. It also has heat as premium with 330, which is pretty good actually. And it has HESH. And the HESH has around 1440 burst in 3 seconds, which is pretty darn good. Yes, it is not as good as what the Foch has. The Foch has 1600 burst, but it takes 7 seconds. So if you see an FV or a Waffenträger auf not even 100, but Panzer 4, you can really punish them very, very well with that HE. So I believe on the Taurus CAT, intuition is going to be one of the most important skills you will ever have with camo. Mobility-wise, I have here too. We have on the top, we have the mobility mode, and on the bottom we have the mobility in siege mode. And important is, yes, the mobility is pretty good. 65 kph top speed, 25 in reverse. That is really good. Sure, Stridsvagn is better in reverse, but that's just their gimmick. The thing is, in accuracy mode, it still goes 20 compared to the Stridsvagn's 10. That means the Taurus CAT doesn't even really need a turbo. Yes, it has worse armor, we'll get to that in just a second, but you can use this for either binos or vents and rammer, but you don't really need a turbo because I know a lot of people enjoy playing the Stridsvagns with a turbo. So you usually play turbo rammer vents, turbo rammer optics, or, at least in the Tier 11, turbo HP rammer. So this could also work on a Taurus in that regard. The main problem is with it, the armor. On paper, it looks pretty mighty. Like 50mm with that angle. That's pretty darn good. So where's the catch, Raptor? The catch is, I'm going to quickly showcase it to you with taking one of the plethora of ISU tanks, which obviously I cannot find. There we go. We take the ISU 152K because it is a 152mm gun, and you can see, oh my god, auto bounce. But then you have this thing up here which you want to ignore because it's massive, and it's 76 to 63mm of armor, meaning that everything can pen that. Everything. Tier 8, Tier 7, Tier 1, technically speaking. These armor plates here are 38mm, meaning that they can get penetrated by 120mm and above as well. But the arm profile other than that is pretty decent. The only other issue is, and I'm gonna take for example now, if I can find it, the Taurus CAT itself, because it has heat as premium rounds. Against heat, yeah, the armor is pretty darn weak as well. So how does the armor actually look like? You have all around 50.8mm on the front, with additional 63.5mm armor plates. But these armor plates don't really make a big difference, because with 50.8 you already are over the threshold of 152mm guns. So that's pretty nifty. So the only thing which can technically overmatch you is the Jack Panzer E100 and the shit Barnes. But yeah, then you have the massive cupola, which everybody knows is a weak spot because it's so massive. So tough luck, guys. You will not have a fun in that regard. Because it's a Stridsvagn type tank, the crew layout is a little bit whack. It has 1500 hit points, which is pretty decent. The camouflage obviously is not on the level of the Stridsvagn. The Stridsvagn is a whole other level, but it's not too bad, you know. For a mix of, hey, you can play aggressively with the tank if you can hide the cupola and the lower plate, and being able to have a massive burst, it should be okay. 360 meters of view range is pretty bad, but it's the same what the Stridsvagn has, hence why you might want to use binos. And radio range actually got bumped by 100, but still no one cares about. So let's move on to the Huggorm, if I pronounce it correctly. And funnily enough, we are 2 for 2, because yes, there was a design study for the Stridsvagn T-hole, which this tank is based on, but the turret actually was in a quite sophisticated design stage. You can even see that the ammo would have been loaded from below into the turret to keep the turret very, very small of our tier adder. It looks even like that it has been placed in a rotating carousel. That also means that every shot into the turret will probably result in an ammo rack, if Wargaming made it correctly. But I like that. Like, you know what? I can't be mad. Hey, it is based on a real-life sketch design which has been planned out quite well. So, I've decided to compare it to the UDES, because obviously Swedish medium tank, the Centurion Action X, which I think will be the closest relative of the Huggorm, and the STB-1. You might have also noticed these orange numbers. I get to them right now, so I don't let you in suspense. This thing has more or less the same mechanic as the Chacal or the Contriver line, the can opener line, where if you press a button, you change from one mode to another. In the Huggorm's case is you basically go on the move into siege mode, where you are more accurate and have better gun depression and gun elevation. You go from -8 to -14. Which is pretty darn nifty. Yes, the STB-1 also has -14 and UDES -13. However, these tanks need to be at a certain speed limit. With the Huggorm, it's basically completely different, because you can decide when you want to be in it and when you don't want to be in it. And my god, I adore this idea. There is nothing worse than playing the SDK2, the UDES 1516, the STB-1, when you're wanting to aim at somebody and you can't be in siege mode because you were at 1k page too fast and you fall out of it, so you have to go back down with your gun again and it has lag in it. It's so annoying. So being able to decide when I want to be in siege mode and when not, that sounds like a game changer. It sounds like such a massive quality of life change. So I'm very much looking forward to that. What I'm also looking forward to is it has 3000, almost 100 DPM. Meaning that even the Centurion Action X, which has pretty decent DPM, and the UDES and the STB-1, it's still going to be the best. I guess that's why it has this weird auto-loading mechanic in the turret, eh? The pen is also pretty decent, 267, don't make any comments about it. It has 390 alpha, and it has 7.6 second reload with a 1.9 second aim time, which is pretty fast, and 0.36 accuracy in normal mode, which is meh, and 0.3 when you are in accuracy mode or in siege mode, which is pretty darn good. I can live with that. That sounds like a really good second line support medium. Speeds are pretty okay, 55 and 25, which is the fastest of the bunch, because Centurion goes 55 and 20. This might get a nerf potentially. And the deactivation time is 1 second, and in siege mode you go 25 kph, which is still fastest of them all. And I assume that the turbo will also work in this mode. So that would be pretty darn good. Yeah, like, thumbs up. Armor-wise, it has 2000 hit points, which is pretty darn a lot, but it is also pretty big. You can see it has equal or almost equal gamma rating to the Centurion. The hull is 100mm, and the turret arm is 230. The thing is, the hull with these types of angles, it's not going to bounce anything. Let's be real. The turret might bounce some odd shots, but not against premium rounds. Like, the angle is not steep enough, so it won't be that good either. So that means it's going to be like the Centurion Action X. It can bounce a shot on a turret, but you shouldn't rely on that type of tank. Meaning second line, or first if you are very ballsy. And it has 400 meters of fuel range, which is pretty good. It's not the 410 of the Centurion, but hey, we can live with that. And signal range, no one cares about. So, we have an old newcomer, the Taurus CAT, and we have the new Huggorm. And I have to say, I'm looking forward to both of these vehicles. Both of these vehicles, the Huggorm giving us new quality of life change, which might even, like, I would love to see it if it's really nicely implemented on the STB-1, etc, etc. And the Taurus CAT coming with a very interesting spin on how Stridsvagns could work. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. My name is RagingRaptor, and I hope to see you around. Cheers.